I want to hear from you, Pam, and from you, Bonnie. Are you guys still using the old footprint, or have you adopted some of the new technologies and are streamlining your business model?
Being in the room for me sometimes really is helpful, because when the director gets the audition, all they're seeing is what they're seeing, what the camera caught. And that's my associate or my assistant running the camera most of the time, unless we happen to be using a studio, which we do, but not that often. So therefore, it's important for me to be in the room, because I may see something that just doesn't come through on that tape, or I shouldn't say tape, but on the audition.
I had only been casting 3.5 years when I received my first self-taped read from an actor, and it wasn't something I had asked for. It was something that an actor pulled down the sides from Showfax after seeing the breakdown on Actors Access and said, "I'm going to shoot this. I'm going to put it up on YouTube." YouTube was 6 months old. And he sent me a link to the read and said, "Hey, Bon, hope you'll consider this. I can work as a local hire in the city where this film is going to be shooting later this year." And I remember writing about it in my column and saying, "Guys, I think this may be a thing. I think maybe you tape your own stuff at some point." And I got the worst hate mail I've ever received from an actor saying, "Lazy casting director, you hold sessions. Don't you put the burden on an actor. How dare you?" The issue is, if it's happening, and especially if it's happening in minor markets, you can bet it's going to start happening here. And why not wrangle that? Why not get on top of it and master it sooner, rather than it becoming something that you are told you have to do?
There's some things that the camera misses. A little tick, a little tap, a little whatever, those little moments like that, the physical stuff, sometimes you miss that. But I really like the stillness of it as well. And there's sometimes when you're looking at stuff on tape, or when you're looking at a clip, and that's the medium that it's going to be delivered in anyway. And to have an actor, and just how well an actor listens, when you're talking about like reading against people, and sometimes it's like, well, you get what you get. But how well an actor on tape and just in a read just listens and sits there and be still. Those things are beautiful. And I want to see every single one, because I don't want to miss. You guys, actors, they go through the trouble of making a clip, of, being off book, being prepared and everything. I want to honor that.
When people do the whole, I need to get an agent because I'm an actor and I need to have an agent, I'm like, that's like saying I'm single, I need to be married, quick, make it happen. It's like, targeting is your friend, definitely with 600 casting directors that we're talking about, your job is not to get in front of all of us. Your job is to find the dozen who need to be fans of your work regularly, and you'll have a huge career, because we'll bring you in on everything we do.
I've seen tapes, really good tapes, done in a hotel room with no lighting, because the actor's been on location. I think the most important thing is not to overdo scenes when you're sending self-tapes. It's always good to be a little understated, because the first thing you got to remember, the first thing all of us are going to look at is, do you look right? That's going to be the number one thing, no matter how great you are, especially in television. We're not going to change their minds too much. So I think that's the important thing. The other thing I think is simplicity is always better, because you don't really know what the director is thinking. You probably don't even know what I'm thinking, because you probably haven't talked to me either. So between it all, you always should think simply. And if it's on a current show, you have to watch episodes of the show. I can't tell you how many times people don't watch the show. Very seldom do we cast, even though I have, but very seldom do I cast off an absolute first self-tape audition, not doing it a second time with either my input or the director's input. Usually it'll be a callback situation, even though, like I say, there are exceptions to that. I think the most important thing is to take your time, and I think the preparation, to answer your question, is exactly the same as if you were coming in my room. The only difference is, which is a good thing sometimes, you don't have to come in and do small talk. You just are going to go right into your audition. And sometimes I think for the actor, and you're in a comfortable surrounding, you're in your house, you're in something that isn't making you nervous, that you can probably do a pretty good audition.
You can have a nice presentation or something, but if it sounds awful, then it just hurts. It hurts everything. And you can have the best visuals, but if it sounds wrong, then it's wrong. Something's not going to be right about it. At the same time, exactly, don't shoot against a window. Be aware of the background. the most important thing is whatever your framing is, just be honest in that frame. I've seen so many things where somebody's going like, well, where they don't know what the director's thinking, so they try to give you more, or they try to give this, that, and the other, and try to get inside our heads. And that's not what I want. I just want someone who's honest, who can be honest in that character, or give me something that I didn't think of before, but be true. No matter how big the frame is, whether you're shooting with a $7,000 camera or you're self-taping on a Red, you're self-taping on your iPhone, be true in the size of that frame and that aspect. And that's what's going to come across, and just make sure it sounds well.